It was a moment in time that's so precious to me that I'm so lucky that I experienced it, and I'm so happy to share it with you. More than 10 years ago, when I decided to cover my hair, great people, very busy people, people who I look up to so much, people who so many people admire, who need to do things for the community, who are so incredibly busy with their families and all this community kindness and work, they made time to see me. They made time to see me, to congratulate me, to embrace me, to buy me flowers, and give me great wishes and blessings on this incredible mitzvah that I took upon myself. It left a big impression on me. Why? Because these people made time for little me in their very busy schedule. And it really made me feel important, special, and it made me feel worthy. Now, a person has intrinsic worth no matter what. And I want to share with you a thought that I heard from my husband, and he gave it over to me. He said, "There's a dollar bill. Now, what's the worth of a dollar bill? A dollar bill is worth a dollar. So what happens when I crush the dollar? When I crush the dollar, how much is it worth? Still a dollar. What happens if I rip the dollar in half? How much is it worth? 80 cents? 90 cents? For the repair and damages? No. You can still tape it. You can still use it. It's still worth a dollar. So your intrinsic worth, a person's worth, is always, always the same, no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what anybody says to create an impression of you. Nothing anybody says or does removes or lessens your worth. So, what happened during this time when in Parshat Shemot, when Shifra and Pua, two midwives, saved so many Jewish children from being killed, from drowning in the water? These women did such heroic acts, but this is not why they were heroic. They were not considered heroic because they're saving so many lives. They're considered heroic because they actually did small and simple things to these Jewish babies. What were their things? Actually, the name Shifra and Pua mean different expressions when they're translated. So Shifra means she beautified the infants and smoothed the limbs. And Pua really means she cooed and whispered to the infants. Now, sounds a little bit silly because these women did such heroic acts and you're giving them such silly names, Shifra and Pua. But this is actually why they were so much praised for what they did. These names may seem strange, but the names actually show what's most important. How is a person's greatness really portrayed and measured? Rav Yaakov Yitzchak Ruderman used to say many times that greatness is manifested by a person doing little things. So what are the little things that we can do? Giving someone a listening ear, smiling when we're doing a favor for someone, writing a thank you note to someone, even a family member, for something that they did. You know, if somebody ever did something to you that you appreciated, that you used, that you've benefited from, we have to forever remember that and be grateful, because nothing is too little to be grateful for. So performing heroic acts of kindness, of greatness that grab the headlines is not really a true sign of greatness. Some people do one act of greatness and they call it a day. They said, you know what? I gave over this amount of money, or I helped in this big way. You know what? Leave me alone now. Let me live my life. This is a superficial type of greatness. It's a greatness that grabs the headlines, but really the person can do so much more. And it's not really internal. It's not really something that the person has really appreciated in themselves and willing to do more. So these two heroic women, Shifra and Puah, were pulling Jewish children to safety in a time of mortal danger. They would have probably been killed. And they're in actuality um, Miriam and Yocheved. So Moshe Rabbeinu's mother, Yocheved, and his sister, Miriam. So they were in this disguise, and they were actually given the other names instead. Yet, as we know, this is not why they were praised for. So please, 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 let's not measure our worth by I'm not the next big Rebbitzin, the next big CEO. I'm not the next mover and shaker of the world. I don't grab the headlines. You don't need to. Now, if you are doing big things and you're praised for it and you're in the headlines, fine, but you're not doing it for that. You're not doing it for that. You're doing it because a true sign of greatness, all you have to do is give. Give of your time, give of your talents, give of your financial abilities in whatever way that you can. And this is a true sign of greatness, is doing little things, such as Shifra and Puah. They cooed the babies. They whispered sweet words. They caressed their bodies. They basically took care of their physical souls, physical parts of the body and their souls by nurturing them, by being there for them. And that's true greatness, the little things. You know, we as mothers, or as wives, or anybody really, the little things that you do, the things that don't get noticed, are the ones that are actually a true sign of greatness. What do we mean? Having warmth in the house, smiling as you're serving your children or your husband. When you see someone in the street and you thank them with a smile and you really mean it and you tell them why you're grateful for it. Really, it's a lot of these things, they don't get noticed. A lot of these things that we do, prayer, caressing the bruises of our children, calming them down, all of this really isn't seen. And this you could do to anyone who needs you, a sister, a brother, a mother, a father. You're there for someone, you're giving a listening ear, you're calming someone down, you're just being there for someone, giving them attention and time. And these are actually simple things. And you don't need to do something crazy, something big. You don't need to raise money for a huge organization if you can't, to feel worthy. You're worthy anyway. And it's in these simple ways that we learn from Shifra and Puah that are a true act of greatness. How am I cleaning the house? Am I cleaning the house with gratitude that I have a place to live in? Am I serving my family with a smile because I have a family? Am I giving attention to my parents because I'm lucky to have parents that are still well in their life, or a job, or anything that you have in your life? It's the simple things. It's not the big things. It really isn't. So let's not let materialism really cloud our perception of being somebody who's big, like I'm donating a lot of money or I'm doing something big. Let's take an example of a mother who may think that, oh, I'm a great mother if I throw a huge birthday bash for my child and it's talked about for weeks in school. Or my daughter has to be, in this beautiful sparkly outfit because she should be the center of attention. Or do I buy my kids enough clothes? You constantly feeling that I'm not doing enough. And I have to send my kids on so many vacations to feel like a good parent, or so many play dates, or so many activities on a Sunday, or like soccer moms, I have to send them to so many places to feel like I'm a good mother. Now, if you're doing that, nothing is set in black and white. Each person's life is different, but that's not what makes a mother worthy. A mother is worthy because she gives her child love, time, attention, kisses their bruises, listens to them when they speak, praises them, encourages them. So these are all things that really don't cost much, that really just involve time and the attitude in the way that we're doing things. And that's really the beautiful part. The beautiful part in living, the beautiful part in truly living, and a true sign of greatness is greatness where you're actually doing things in small ways, but with a beautiful attitude and a great mood. We learn this from a story in the Talmud. Rabbi Yossi ben Kizma taught Torah in public, knowing that the Romans are planning to decreeing actually death upon someone who's teaching Torah in public. He knew this was happening. So one day, Rabbi Hanina ben Teradion visits him, and he tells him, "Don't you know that heaven granted the Romans their power? How can you flaunt their decrees?" And Rabbi Yossi ben Kizma says, "I rely on the mercy of heaven. Tell me, will I have a share in the next world?" And Rabbi Hanina ben Teradion asks, "Have you ever done anything outstanding?" Rabbi Yossi ben Kizma replies, "Yes, I have." And this is what he says. "I once had charity as well as my own money in the same pocket. They got all mixed up. I didn't know which was which, so I gave everything to charity." Rabbi Hanina ben Teradion replies, "If so, may my own portion be as great as your portion, and may my destiny be as great as yours." You know, Rabbi Yossi ben Kizma, he knew that he was going to probably die a horrible, tragic death being caught by the Romans. But yet, this really wasn't a big heroic act that's going to definitely grant him a share in the next world. That wasn't why. Knowing this, Rabbi Hanina ben Teradion asks him still, "Have you done anything great? What are you proud of?" Even though he knew this. So basically, these great heroic acts don't really grant you a share in the world to come. It's the small things that you do. So he has some charity money. Rabbi Yossi ben Kizma had some charity money, and then he had his own money, and it got all mixed up. It's a simple thing. It happens to all of us. He decided to give everything to charity. Now this measures a person's character, how honest the person is, and it measures their greatness. Nobody saw how much money he has, and we're not even told how much money he has. If it's $1, it's okay. It's only $1. It's $1 that's not yours. It's $1 that's showing the way you handle it is going to show your character, even if it's $1. So I want to leave you with a practical tip. Try once a day to really attribute a simple act in a great way. Whether you're taking out the garbage and you're happy that you actually have garbage to take out. Garbage to take out means that I'm living. Write a thank you note or tell a thank you message to someone in your life who you see on a regular basis, and tell them why you're so grateful to them. Because when you say why you're grateful, that makes the person really know that you're thinking about them, that you're appreciating it. If anybody did that to you, you would appreciate it. And you would do things even more for them because you know you're recognized. Or it's either you're writing a thank you or you're really, when you're doing a favor for someone, smile. Smile, because the attitude matters. The way you do something puts the whole deed in a whole new castle in Shamayim, we can say. So it's a whole new way of doing things, and it's a different way of doing things. It's not like you just did it. You did it in this way that's truly phenomenal. It's truly more quality way of doing things. So when you're doing something, do it with a smile, write a thank you note to someone, or say a thank you, and really give people appreciation of the when you're doing something, do it in a manner that's pleasant. Appreciating the insights of Rabbi Yisachar Friend in this book, Rabbi Yisachar and the Parsha, Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming.